Today, we're not just looking at a fast car, we are looking at arguably the most anticipated hypercar launch of the entire decade, the 2026 Ferrari F80. We're going to strip away all the hype and use the exact specs, data, and design philosophies straight from the source to figure out exactly what makes this machine tick. Okay, let's dive into this with a reaction that honestly tells you everything you need to know. When Ferrari tossed Formula One superstar Charles Leclerc into the passenger seat of this thing, his immediate, completely visceral reaction was simply, "This is the fastest road car I've ever been in." I mean, coming from a guy who literally drives at 200+ miles per hour for a living, that's definitely not a statement to take lightly. It kind of hooks you right in, doesn't it? And here is exactly why Leclerc was so blown away. 2.1 seconds. That's the 0 to 60 miles per hour time. Just let that sink in for a second. By the time I finish this sentence, you're already pinned to the back of your seat, absolutely rocketing past highway speed limits. It's explosive, mind-bending acceleration, and it really sets a high adrenaline tone for everything else we're going to uncover today.
Section 1. A new hypercar era, the once-in-a-decade lineage.
To really appreciate what this car is, we have to look at its family tree. You see, Maranello doesn't just casually release a flagship hypercar every other year. When they do, it's a huge generational event that practically stops the entire automotive world in its tracks. Back in 2002, we got the legendary Enzo. Over a decade later, in 2013, the LaFerrari arrived, a car so important that they literally named it the Ferrari. And now, jumping to 2026, we have the F80. This lineage gives you an instant sense of the historical weight here. This isn't just a new model. This is Ferrari putting all their cards on the table to define the next decade of performance. Section 2. The hybrid powertrain monster, F1 tech for the road. Now, what's really interesting about this is the raw output, 1,184 horsepower. For a long time, early rumors suggested Ferrari might stick a massive V12 or twin-turbo V8 in here, but actually, they didn't. To achieve this jaw-dropping output, they engineered a highly advanced hybrid setup that completely rewrites the rules of power delivery. They basically took what they learned from conquering Le Mans and Formula One and figured out how to legally put it on public roads. So let's break down where all that power actually comes from. At its core, you've got a mid-mounted twin-turbo 3.0-liter V6 engine, which, believe it or not, shares a lot of DNA with the exact engine that just won Le Mans 3 times in a row. But it doesn't work alone. It's paired up with 3 advanced electric motors. 2 are mounted on the front wheels, giving the car highly precise all-wheel drive, and 1 sits right under the engine. And all of this is managed by an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission that shifts with the brutal speed of a GT3 race car, but somehow keeps it silky smooth. But hey, generating over 1,000 horsepower creates a pretty massive problem, right? Heat. The F80 generates up to 200 kilowatts of thermal energy. That is a lot. So to keep the car from literally melting, Ferrari engineered a very specific 3-radiator layout. 2 are situated laterally outboard on the shoulders, handling the bulk of the cooling, and 1 is tucked centrally underneath, utilizing air coming up from the front of the car. This clever packaging means they can effectively cool that monstrous powertrain without ruining the car's sleek, low-slung shape. Section 3. Mastering extreme aerodynamics, shaped by the wind. If the powertrain is the heart, the aerodynamics are absolutely the muscle keeping this car grounded. Every single curve, every sharp angle, and aggressive vent on the exterior is dictated entirely by aero necessity, and that results in a massive figure, 2,315 pounds of downforce generated at just 155 miles per hour. That is absolutely crazy. To put that into perspective, the Ferrari Enzo from 20 years ago generated about 1,700 pounds, or 775 kilograms, at an even higher speed. It just perfectly illustrates the sheer generational leap in engineering. The car is literally being crushed into the tarmac to give you maximum grip. And this brilliantly illustrates how that invisible weight has to be perfectly balanced across the chassis.
At 155 miles per hour, you have 460 kilograms of air pressure penning the front tires down and a massive 590 kilograms keeping the rear locked in. It's exactly this precise distribution that gives the driver the absolute confidence to attack corners at blistering speeds without the car breaking traction. So how do they get that 460 kilograms of front downforce? Ferrari uses what they call an S-duct and a triplane wing configuration. Simply put, these front aerodynamic channels scoop up the incoming air and aggressively redirect it upwards, right over the hood. By forcing the air up like that, it creates a powerful vacuum, an area of extreme low pressure, underneath the flat carbon fiber floor of the car. It quite literally sucks the vehicle down to the road. And the craziest part? The aerodynamics are actively thinking while you drive. Take the massive rear spoiler, for instance. It dynamically adapts to your driving inputs in real time. If you step heavy on the brakes, the wing instantly tilts up by up to 11 degrees and raises up to 200 millimeters, basically acting like a giant air brake for maximum downforce. But when you mash the throttle on a straightaway, the wing flattens out. It enters the slippery, low drag setting, so the car can just slice right through the air to reach its top speed.
Section 4. The One Plus Cabin, a driver-focused cockpit.
All right, let's theoretically open the doors and move inside. The interior is a stark departure from your typical luxury Grand Tourers. It's heavily inspired by single-seater race cars. Ferrari calls this the One Plus cabin. It's a completely asymmetrical design. The driver gets this heavily bolstered adjustable seat, prominently featured in bright red. But the passenger, they sit in a fixed black seat that's actually set slightly further back. This offsets their shoulders from yours, which saves so much lateral space that Ferrari was able to make the entire cabin 50 millimeters narrower than the LaFerrari. Just incredibly clever packaging. And then we have the steering wheel. It's beautifully trimmed with a flat top and bottom, making it super easy to grip. But honestly, the best part? Ferrari listened to the feedback and finally ditched those frustrating capacitive touchpads we've seen on some of their recent models. They've returned to tactile, physical buttons. You also get these gorgeous extended carbon fiber shift paddles right behind the wheel. It's pretty much ergonomic perfection. Section 5. The ultimate driving experience, track weapon, road usable. Now, you might be wondering, you have a 1,184 horsepower hybrid powertrain, Formula One level downforce, and a pretty cramped cockpit. How does this extreme spec sheet actually translate to unpredictable public roads? Well, the secret weapon is the 48-volt active suspension system. This tech uses 4 powerful electric motors to instantly control the damper stiffness at each individual wheel. Because the car relies so heavily on ground effect aerodynamics, the ride height has to be strictly maintained. This active suspension miraculously keeps the car perfectly level to generate downforce, while simultaneously absorbing harsh road bumps so your spine doesn't shatter on a Sunday drive. So the crucial point is, because of that tech, reviewers are all coming to a really fascinating consensus. They're saying it feels more like a road car with incredible ability on the circuit. Despite having the surgical precision and ferocious braking of a dedicated track weapon, the active suspension and intelligent drive modes make it shockingly civilized. It's surprisingly drivable out on the open road. It's basically an engineering paradox that actually works. But okay, let's bring this all back down to reality for just a second, because masterpieces like this certainly do not come cheap. The F80 commands an astronomical price tag of roughly $3.9 million, or around 3.5 million euros. Ferrari strictly limited production to just 799 units globally. And if you're watching this thinking about grabbing your checkbook, yeah, you can put it away. Every single one of them is already completely sold out. It is the absolute epitome of exclusivity. Which really leaves us with this final thought. Ferrari has managed to blend Le Mans winning internal combustion with advanced hybrid tech, active aerodynamics, and mind-bending digital suspension to create a car that accelerates to 60 in just 2.1 seconds. They have completely rewritten the Hypercar rulebook. So what does this all mean? With a technological benchmark set this incredibly high, where on earth can the automotive world possibly go from here? Thank you so much for watching this explainer, and we'll see you next time as we continue breaking down the most fascinating topics out there.